Well, ladies and gentlemen, back to AMC. The last time we held this pivot, we went to 12. I can't stress how huge crossing this pivot is. Here's the picture. We were trying to cross. We're back under it, doing like a cup and handle. So the weekly pivot is 255, and we're kind of stuck between 255 and 268, right? See, this said 268 ish. What was our high yesterday? 267. So we're just basing right under that pivot, right? So let me go over to another chart. You could say, what is this structure? It's kind of, I always look for kind of, AMC likes to do this low, secondary low, and then a sweep, and then go same over here, kind of boom, boom, boom. Same over here, a low, secondary low, sweep, and go. So we had that. We had the low, secondary low, and go, right? So now we have kind of an inverted head and shoulders on this is just like the 15-minute. I did draw a little, just on the MACD, kind of a little break and back test of this formation. We need just the big push. We haven't had the big push, like where the MACD totally breaks crazy. So we haven't had like a rally. We just keep doing this coiling process. And let's look at the weekly on another chart real quick. I can show you the daily real quick on this to show you kind of what we're doing, and then we're going to look at some fibs and stuff like that. So the daily, you just kind of broke and back tested here, that 255 again. Yeah, I mean, a close, you're just kind of right at this, the bull bear pivot is kind of right in between here. Um, that's your back test range. You broke up, you've back tested this range 255. You're holding there. You're basing whatever you want to call it, very low volume. Um, let's go to a better chart that shows everything. Okay, remember I put this one up, and I really loved the back test of this channel. I thought we'd come off it a little harder, but we're doing what we're doing. I mean, sometimes you're thinking for the best and everything, but on a weekly basis, this is a week chart, 1 week chart. So we've been hitting this channel, right? This black line here, and then we went underneath, broke, back tested, and then pushed. And like what I said is similar to 2021 is that this is the exact same channel that I copied and pasted here, remember? So we had like this undercut low. We went below this channel and reclaimed, right? And then had our big rally. Well, very similar here. We just back tested. We broke into this. We had the undercut low, right? We're doing the coiling, right? Instead of just going straight for the rally here, we went up and then back tested this channel. And now, so on the weekly, we're flat, right? If you look at these fibs, we've honored these fibs, right? You've honored, you've kind of broke up two and pulled back and back tested. Broke up two and a half, really, two and a half, roughly, and then back tested the lower fib. Broke up 2.5 fibs. So from this rally, you went from this 174, you went through this 211 to 255, and then halfway up to 335, right? So what I would think is you broke here, you went up, you back tested this channel, which is great, but we're not getting the rally. It's probably closed right here for the week, 255 to 258, somewhere in there. The thing we've been trying to do though is get ready for this parabolic channel, right? Claim it, go. But every time we got over it, we just climbing it. So we pierced it yesterday. It's at about 265, 267 this week, right at that kind of major pivot. Next week, it'll probably be at 273. And then here's my breakout line for this little formation, which is around 285, probably next week, 286. So I just took the high pivots and drew them down, and where they're failing over that, I don't count. I count the green bars. So if I take a price target from this whole thing, it gives me like a 8 to 9 target, right? 893, and that's just simply call it head and shoulders, call it whatever you want. I'm just simply taking a measure move from the breakout zone. It might be a little lower from over here. So next week, let's take it. Yeah, that's where I come up with 8 to 9. I don't just like pull that out of my rear. But here's the kicker. If we look at history, uh, what did AMC do last time on this channel? Well, it broke above the center line of this channel and went higher, right? So if we broke above the center line of this channel, that's at 1117, we'd go a little higher. So this 1618 fib, if we clear 335 and 474, to me, this is open. This is open shooting territory, and even to pierce it, right? To pierce the 1288. So that gives me that 12 to 14 target, which also what runs down the middle of that is that 200 week moving average, which is 1324. So ultimately, I would like to see a pierce of 1324 is the long and short of it. But on a bad day, or if we kind of just go up here, to 6, say 7 to 9 area, we can pull back. Can have a big, you might need another higher base and then go, or just like a sharp pullback and then go, like a spring. So it depends where the indicators are at if we do that rally. But for this week, the way things are, you can either have a full reversal, guys. This is beautiful, by the way. This hammer candle here, you barely see it. It's beautiful, but it's not a full reversal. Is where you hit, boom, go, and then you rally, and you turn this into just a big full body candle. But what we've done is this previous week over here, the pivot is 255. It's kind of dead in the middle, right, from the high to the low, or the open to the low. And we've come up, tried to make a higher high, and then we've come and closed above like 257 last week, and now 255, 250. So we have two inside bars, right, from this break up bar, but we don't have a breakout bar. So this one being a pullback, this one being a deeper pullback, and then closing still above, making it an inside bar, closing above the center line or the pivot in this weekly bar. So that would mean you can push out that pivot next week, and you're pushing also off this lower, this back test here. And let me go over to one more chart, and then yes, I've been using this one quite a bit. And yeah, the Ichimoku, the Japan cloud, I call it 265, 67, that same zone. So if you're to say this channel was our long-term downtrend channel, like falling wedge, whatever you want to call it, we tried to break, pulled back, tried to break again, pulled back, and back tested once, tried to break this 262 area, whatever, try to break out of this cloud, let's say, back tested, and now here we are. We've got a nice reversal bar. So to me, very powerful bar, nice bear trap through the week, and closing um, at or above 50% of this previous breakup bar is key. Then you could push and try the highs next week of these bars, which is over 3, which leads to those other targets. You can see the indicators on the week, they're not affected by this action. It's still pointed straight up, like the indicators on the week. I like having these around for a big run. It just shows the distance from 52 week high, distance from 200 SMA, which is kind of a target. Yeah, so that's it. I mean, we're going to close dead flat on the week and make this nice reversal bar, and then, well, how does that reversal bar look like in the past, right? Let's go back 10 years. Well, it kind of looks like this one, right? Right before a gap and go, but I don't want to say gap and go. I don't want to. Let's just go 5 years back. I need about 6. Let's go 11 months. And let's just look at last time we kind of had this, and look at the breakout. It's right in between. And I have another chart I'll show you too. But yeah, I mean, you could say you're kind of maybe doing this reversal bar this week, the pullback, but all the levels you're above. Look at this falling wedge, whatever you want to call it. You broke and back tested. Now you're just fighting this final pivot. And then your next zone is where? Like that's 778, pierce it. Here's the 200 week, 1487 on this chart, or 1460-ish, I guess. Um, yeah, all that's good, right? But it's this is this is better, right? So I've got a bunch of there's so much congestion is what I've been saying, and it's because all this volume here. So this just shows you the picture of going through this final congestion, how bad it really is. And then after kind of this three area, look, $3 is where all that congestion and volume drops way off, right? And then it comes in again here at this probably 650 to 11 area is where a lot of that volume came from, because we literally went up to 650 and opened at 12 or 1188, right? And sold off. So from 1188 down to 650 is probably a little bit of overhead. So can we kind of punch into that area? Whoops. And over 650, and then to 8 to 9 to finish that target on the inverted head and shoulders or bottom breakout. Can we punch into that area and they get rejected? Yeah, that's possible. So that would hit, maybe hit this pink line somewhere up here, 818. What in the world?